I thought habit tracking would help me follow through. I wasn't expecting it to reveal something I was actively avoiding, especially something like gratitude. My calendar was suddenly empty. I knew I needed a rest. Leaving it blank for a while was just fine. But eventually, I wanted to lean into this reset and change how I was living. And I knew habits, those tiny defaults that quietly shape our days, were a big opportunity. There are all sorts of apps to do this, but in my life reset, I'm leaning into analog, paper, pen, notebooks, printing photos, reading physical books. So I grabbed a sketchbook off of Amazon, drew a grid by hand, forcing my perfectionism to realize an imperfectly drawn line was just fine, and started figuring out what it was I wanted to track. I set up 15 habits that I wanted to improve on. That might sound like too many to start, but they weren't all daily. Some were exercise, like Zwift cycling in my office or going on a daily walk with my wife. Some were relational, like did we have a weekly date night? Did I spend one-on-one time with my kids? And some more personal habits, like did I set my clothes out for the next morning, or did I read a chapter in a book, or spend time relaxing on purpose in a hobby that I enjoy. Jerry Seinfeld is known for saying it takes 21 days to really form a new habit, so you're trying to get to here. And I was surprised at how quickly I started carrying around this rather large, I think it's 8.5 by 11 notebook with me everywhere. Filling in the boxes as I did things throughout the day was like a silly little mental reward, but it worked. I wanted to set my clothes out for the next day because I didn't want to break my streak. It also confronted my perfectionism. There were times, of course, when things slipped, and it was there, bare, naked on the page for me to see. No hiding. But that's helped me learn that it's okay to fail and that I can start a new streak again. It also showed me that my intention didn't always match my action. There were times I didn't spend any time relaxing on purpose in a hobby that I enjoy, or that I didn't have dedicated one on one time with both of my kids. I also noticed my reading comes in streaks. But what surprised me most was what, despite my best efforts, and despite it staring me in the face multiple times per day when I marked something else off, was a column I just couldn't fill in. My family has a habit that most nights during dessert, we have a separate notebook like this called the Thankful Book, and we take turns going around sharing our highs from the day, our lows from the day, and one thing that we're thankful for. We're trying to teach our kids that in most days you're going to have highs and lows, but there's always something to be thankful for. But I wanted to spend an intentional 5 or 10 or 15 minutes sitting in gratitude by myself. I've read articles about how being grateful and sitting in gratitude is really, really good for you and your mental health. And there were things that maybe I was grateful for that I didn't want to share with my wife or my kids out loud. They were just for me. But that column kept showing up blank. I think what I'm struggling with is forcing myself in a season of loss and contemplating whether taking a gap year is truly wise, to think about what I'm actually grateful for on purpose. The task feels too big, as if I'm requiring myself to write a lengthy chapter in a book before I give myself enough credit to fill in a box. Each month, I draw the grid again, and this month, I'm lowering my own expectations. I just need to think of one thing, big or small, I'm grateful for. It could be my kids laughing at the pool, trimming some fresh lavender from the garden, of being able to cycle indoors at my house, or sharing a bottle of wine with my wife on the patio. I think what I'm learning is that gratitude doesn't need to be big, or eloquent, or worthy of a whole page. It just has to be noticed. So I'm starting there. If you're tracking habits, or rebuilding your life after burnout or loss, I'd love to hear one thing you've been grateful for lately, even if it's small. Especially if it's small. Maybe writing in the comments is your way of filling in a box today.